Sir Aymeric Chauprade, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Now, last year you lost your job because you actually questioned the events surrounding the official versions of the events surrounding 9/11, saying that it was an orchestrated conspiracy by Israelis and Americans. Who else backs this theory up?
You know, first of all, the real reason why I lost my job was because I disagreed with the new French defense policy about pro-NATO orientation. That was the real reason why I lost my job. But that's true that in my last book I have some doubts about the official version of the 9/11. I think I'm very confident on the future about the truth. I'm just waiting about what will happen. But, you know, many experts think that the official version is not right. So we have time, but we will know the truth.
Experts is one thing, but do you actually think that one day mainstream media could question the official events surrounding 9/11?
In the Western world, it's very difficult to question the official version. But things will change because, as I told you, also in the US, many people think it's a kind of inside job. So we have time. I'm an historian of a long-term view, so I'm waiting and I'm confident about the future.
Now, you also advocate this idea of clash of civilizations in the present-day world. What is it based on? Who is involved in it, and where are the battle lines drawn?
Well, in the long-term view, history is not only a clash of civilization, it's a competition between different nations, different cultures, but it's also a clash of civilization between China, Europe, the US, and a lot of different civilizations. What I say is we cannot deny this clash of civilization, and especially the fact that the US tried to dominate and to lead the world and try to impose the Western values on a kind of Western globalization.
There's also like rising tension with the immigrant communities in many European countries.
Yes, I think it's a big problem, you know, for my country and for many European countries. We have a serious problem with especially the Muslim migrants because it's very difficult to assimilate them inside the nation, the European Christian culture nation.
So where is this leading? Where could this lead to?
Maybe I hope it will not be the case, but maybe we can have kind of civil war and clash inside the society, the European societies. As you see, the political world is changing in European Union because of migration. You have far-right parties, stronger and stronger year after year, and the result can be strong tensions inside the European country. Russia doesn't have this problem. You have a strong unity in your culture, even if you have also Muslim people. But it's a long time cohabitation with your minorities.
Let's talk about America a little bit. What do you think is America's biggest ambitions? Who are its major strategic enemies, for example?
America tried to keep the leadership on the world, but they know it's not possible because of China. The China race is something very difficult to accept for the US, and they will try to compete with China, especially in the Pacific Ocean. They probably will have tension between the two major players, China and the US. But in the long-term view, I'm confident about the relationship between Russia, Europe, and the US. I think in the long-term view we have the same interest. We will have to deal with two major problems in the future, China and Islam, the Islamic world. And that's the reason why I'm confident about the future between the US and Russia.
So you don't see China as part of this unity, America, Europe, Russia plus China?
No, I think now we are in a kind of multipolarity. But in several decades, maybe 20 or 30 years, China will be very, very strong. And probably they will try to dominate the world. So now we have a kind of US globalization, but in the future we can have a kind of Chinese globalization, and it's not a good thing for Russian people and also for European people.
Okay, but that's in 10 decades, you said, right? But what about now? Where is this American anti-Chinese sentiment coming from? Why would some of the American politicians target its biggest creditor?
Oh, it's very simple, I think. It's just come from the fact that the US want to keep the first player in the world. They want to lead the globalization. They cannot accept to see their role challenged by China.
Do you think anything has changed since Obama came to the office?
I think so. Not the purpose, not the goals of the US. It's to lead the world, but the method has changed. The way to change the world has changed. Before Obama, we had unipolarity policy. With Obama, we have multipolarity, multilateral means to lead this goal. So this is something new. For example, the relationship between Russia and the US is in a better way now with Obama than with the Republican in the past.
We know that Republicans actually won control in Congress.
Yes.
How could this affect the future of the START treaty with Russia?
Well, actually, there is a trend inside the Republican Party which doesn't have a good opinion of Russia. But I think there is also a pragmatism tradition in the Republican Party, and they know that Russia is a very important player, and they also know that for the US question, like Afghanistan, like Iran, all the major questions the Americans have, they need Russia to find solution. So even the Republicans know about that.
But if there is a possible delay on the START treaty, do you think that could affect the relationships between Russia and the US that have just recently improved?
Yes, actually, that's right, that a part of the Republican Party disagree with the agreement about START. That's true. But I'm really confident on the fact that the US are pragmatist people. They know they have very big economical problems. We have a very serious problem with China. They have problems in the Middle East. They need Russia. And they know probably if they want to have the smart power, because Obama talked about the smart power. The smart power is to deal with Russia, because without Russia there is no solution in Europe and no solution in the major problems of the world.
Well, last week actually NATO invited Russia to cooperate in the joint European missile defense system. What does this mean? How do you actually see Russia's role in the future European affairs in years to come?
Well, the Russian position is fair, I mean, because they just say, okay, we have a balanced world thanks to the nuclear weapons, and with your shield, with your anti-missile system, you want to break this equilibrium, with this balance between the major player, and that's not fair. I understand the Russian concern about that, and I think if the US want the shield to be accepted, they need to include Russia into these systems. They need to associate the Russian in these systems of security. It's impossible to deal without Russia also with the shield, because if not, that would mean that the missile shield is targeted against Russia.
Also, NATO invited Russia to take part in their summit in Lisbon this month. How will that play out? How do you see Russia-NATO relationship taken up from here?
As you see, NATO needs Russia because they want to associate Russia. This is something very new. We can see that about Afghanistan, about the anti-missile system. So I think in the Lisbon summit they will announce some new measures with Russia associated.
Now, you know quite a bit about Russia and you travel the world. Do you think Russia gets a fair media coverage outside Russia?
No, I don't think so. I think I can see in my country, for example, in France, we don't have a fair coverage. We don't have a fair image of Russia. Sometimes it's like a caricature. It's very strange. I don't understand. It's like Russia, something is depicted as the Soviet Union with imperialism, and they don't try to understand what the Russian wants. It's just to protect their security, to protect their, a kind of vital space. And many times the treatment of Mr. Putin or Mr. Medvedev is not fair.
But why do you think that happens? I mean, it's more or less understandable why American media would portray Russia as an enemy, because it's a long-time history and it's in their mentality. But Europe, I mean, Russia has enjoyed fairly good relationship with Europe and stable relationship for the past 20 years. Why is that?
You're perfectly right. There is no Russian soft power in the medias in Europe. You don't have any influence inside medias in Europe. That's not the case with the US, because they have a lot of pro-US supporters inside the medias. They have networks, very efficient and very powerful networks. I realized that during the Iraq War. I realized how strong was the US inside my country thanks to networks. So in the future, I really promote the possibility to develop this Russian soft power. That doesn't mean propaganda. That means new friendship networks with Russian experts to explain exactly what are the goals of your foreign policy.
Thank you very much for this interview, Aymeric Chauprade.
Thank you very much.